Easton is one of the most deprived areas in the UK, in the top 1%, with not access to anything really. So there's a lot of young people hanging around, getting into antisocial behaviour.
The problems that we were encountering came from a street called Stapleton Road. It was dubbed by the press at the time as being the most dangerous street in the country. It was scruffy and untidy, but also it was well known for drug dealing, young people getting involved in gang activity, and some serious assaults were happening there.
One of the boys who was occasionally involved in street violence across the M32 was stabbed and killed on Stapleton Road.
I don't know the ins and outs, but there's a rift between St Paul's and Easton. I was only at a funeral probably a few weeks ago.
St Paul's people fight against like Eastern people for no reason really, just maybe because they're bored, so they just end up fighting and like stabbing each other and shooting and stuff like that.
After a little bit of consultation in the area and getting in touch with Becca from Access Sport, we found out that the young people just wanted somewhere to go and kick a ball around. It wasn't anything more complicated than that. We set up this Eastern Street Sportz, and it started with about 14 or 15 young people on a Friday night, because that was the peak times for antisocial behaviour.
Eastern Street Sportz brought something to them. It brought the sports to them on the street.
A guy walked by who had a lot of experience and knowledge around the game of football and said, I would quite like to take part. A guy by the name of Bonnie Brown, and he is absolutely a legend.
I'm not just a coach. I see myself as a role model. I see myself as a mentor and someone they can knock on my door and speak to.
Bonnie helps me with working on respect for other players and respect in the game. Help me like not to get into fights. It's not just like football, you can talk to them about anything really.
Since we started, the crime and antisocial behaviour levels have dropped by about 35%. Because they learn about teamwork, about honesty, about work, about respect for each other, then they have different aspirations of what they want to achieve in life, and of course that's a really positive thing for us. You know, their life chances are so much greater by taking that route rather than going into crime.
13 to 14 is the age in which I think the boys can drift into and get into trouble. I'm confident that Eastern Street Sportz will make the difference. Of the group of boys I've got here at the moment, we've had 2 that's gone to Bristol City, we've had several that's had trials with other clubs, and I've got 1 boy who is so highly rated that many clubs are looking at him at the moment.
But of course, you know, you need funding and you need some structural support, and that's where Access Sport was so vital. Having Access Sport as a charity to come in and help and use the expertise that Becca has in terms of setting up projects so that they're not just a flash in the pan.
So my role is to try and link everything together and to really make the project sustainable, so it continues long into many years to come.
The local authority budget for children and young people has been slashed, and that's why I think that Access Sport have got a big part to play, because there's a real gap to be filled.
It's really important that Access Sport get more funding to help communities such as ours.